My stepmom accused me of stealing her diamond necklace, but when truth came out, her face was worth looking. I, 19F, never thought I'd be posting here, but I'm at my wit's end and need some outside perspective. This whole situation has me questioning everything, and I just don't know what to do anymore. For some background, my parents divorced when I was 12. It wasn't a messy split or anything, they just grew apart. Last week was Sarah's birthday. My dad, being the generous guy he is, bought her this really expensive diamond necklace. I'm talking seriously fancy. It probably cost more than my car. Sarah was over the moon about it, showing it off to everyone who'd look. The drama started 2 days after her birthday. She started yelling at me, asking where her necklace was. I was completely confused and told her I had no idea what she was talking about. She didn't believe me. She kept insisting that I must have taken it, that I was jealous of her and wanted the necklace for myself. I tried to stay calm and told her again that I hadn't touched her necklace, let alone stolen it. But she wouldn't listen. My dad came home in the middle of this and tried to calm things down. He asked Sarah to explain what was going on, and she told him that her necklace was missing from their bedroom. She said she'd last seen it that morning before going to work, and now it was gone. And apparently, I was the only one who'd been in the house all day. I told my dad that I hadn't even been in their bedroom. I'd just been in the living room and doing laundry in the basement, but Sarah kept insisting that I must have taken it. She said things like, "Who else could it be?" and "She's always been jealous of me." That last part really hurt. I've never been jealous of Sarah. Sure, we're not super close, but I've always tried to be respectful of her relationship with my dad. I even got her a nice birthday gift. Nothing as fancy as the necklace, but it was thoughtful. My dad tried to mediate, but he was clearly torn. He didn't want to accuse me, but he also couldn't ignore his wife's certainty. He asked me if I was sure I hadn't seen the necklace or moved it by accident. I told him. I was absolutely certain. Sarah then demanded that I empty my pockets and show them my bag. I was so shocked and hurt that they'd even consider this, but I did it just to prove my innocence. Of course, there was nothing there. This wasn't enough for Sarah. She insisted that I must have hidden it somewhere in the house or taken it to my apartment. I couldn't believe this was happening. My dad, to his credit, said that was going too far. He told Sarah they needed to calm down and think about this rationally. But Sarah was having none of it. She kept accusing me, saying things like, "You've never accepted me as part of this family, and you're trying to sabotage our marriage." I've always had a good relationship with my dad, and I thought things were okay with Sarah. Now I feel like I'm being treated like a criminal in my own family. The next day, my dad called. He apologized for how things had escalated, but asked if I was absolutely sure I hadn't taken the necklace. He said he believed me, but he had to ask. I told him again that I hadn't touched it, and that I was hurt that they'd even consider this. He sighed and said he'd talk to Sarah again, try to calm her down. He asked me to be patient and give her some time to cool off. I agreed, but I was still upset. Over the next few days, things just got worse. Sarah started posting on social media about how someone had stolen her birthday gift, heavily implying it was me without actually naming me. Some of our mutual family friends started messaging me, asking what was going on. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to badmouth Sarah, but I also didn't want people thinking I was a thief. I just told them there had been a misunderstanding and that hopefully it would be resolved soon. My mom got wind of what was happening and was furious. She wanted to confront Sarah and my dad, but I begged her not to. I was afraid it would just make things worse. A week has passed now, and the necklace still hasn't turned up. Sarah is still convinced I took it. She's now refusing to have me in their house and has told my dad that he needs to choose between us. My dad is stuck in the middle. He says he believes me, but he also doesn't think Sarah is lying about the necklace being missing. He suggested that maybe I took it by accident or moved it without realizing. I know he's trying to find a solution that doesn't involve either his wife or daughter being a liar, but it's still hurtful. I've racked my brain trying to think if there's any way I could have moved the necklace without realizing it. But I know I didn't. I wasn't even in their bedroom that day. I've suggested that maybe it was misplaced, or that someone else could have taken it. But Sarah is adamant that it was in her jewelry box that morning, and that I'm the only one who could have accessed it. The whole situation is tearing me apart. I feel like I'm losing my family over something I didn't do. I can't sleep. I can't focus on my studies, and I'm constantly anxious about what's going to happen next. I've thought about just buying a replacement necklace to end this whole thing, but I know that would be seen as an admission of guilt. Plus, I couldn't afford something like that anyway. My friends have been supportive, telling me to stand my ground and not let Sarah bully me, but they don't understand how hard it is to have your family doubt you like this. The worst part is, I feel like this has permanently damaged my relationship with my dad. He says he believes me, but I can tell he has doubts, and every time he asks me to just think really hard about whether I might have moved the necklace, it feels like another little betrayal. I've always been close to my dad, even after the divorce. He was the one who taught me to always tell the truth, to stand up for what's right. And now, it feels like he's questioning everything he knows about me. As for Sarah, I don't know if our relationship can ever recover from this. Even if the necklace turns up tomorrow, the fact that she was so quick to accuse me and so unwilling to consider any other possibility has shown me how she really feels about me. Part of me wants to just walk away from the whole situation, to tell my dad that I'm done, that I can't be around people who think I'm capable of something like this. But I know that would only make me look guilty, and I don't want to lose my relationship with my dad. I feel stuck. If I keep trying. To defend myself, I look defensive. If I stop engaging, I look guilty. There's no winning move here. I've started to fear my phone ringing, afraid it'll be my dad with more questions or Sarah with more accusations. I've stopped going to family gatherings because I can't stand the whispers and sidelong glances. My mom keeps telling me to stand up for myself more forcefully, to demand an apology from Sarah. But I'm afraid that being more aggressive will just make things worse. I don't want to force my dad to choose sides more than he already has to. I've even had nightmares about the necklace. In my dreams, I find it in my pocket or in my room, even though I know it's not possible. I wake up in a panic, afraid that somehow it's true. The rational part of me knows that the necklace has to be somewhere in their house. It has to have been misplaced or overlooked. But with each passing day, it seems less and less likely that it'll be found. At this point, I don't even care about proving my innocence anymore. I just want this nightmare to be over. I want my family back. I want to be able to hug my dad without feeling like he's wondering if I'm a liar. I want to be able to go to family dinners without feeling like a pariah. But I also know that I can't just give in and say I did it when I didn't. That would be betraying myself and everything my parents taught me about honesty. So now I'm turning to you, Reddit. Should I have done something differently? Is there anything I can do to fix this situation? I feel lost and alone, and I could really use some outside perspective. Update. Hey everyone, I'm back with an update on the situation with my stepmom and the missing diamond necklace. A lot has happened, and I'm still processing everything, but I wanted to share what went down. It had been about 3 weeks since my last post. I was at the local shopping center, just trying to distract myself with some window shopping. As I was walking past a coffee shop, I saw a familiar face through the window. It was Sarah. At first, I thought about just walking away. I didn't want another confrontation. But then I noticed. She was sitting with a man I didn't recognize. They seemed to be having an intense conversation. I know it wasn't right, but I couldn't help myself. I found a spot where I could see them without being obvious and watched. Sarah looked nervous, kept glancing around like she was afraid of being seen. Then, to my shock, I saw Sarah reach into her purse and pull out a small black velvet box. My heart started racing. It looked exactly like the box my dad had given her the necklace in. Sarah handed the box to the man. He opened it, looked inside, then closed it quickly and put it in his pocket. They talked for a few more minutes,